What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rise and Grind. I almost said Breaking Barriers right there again. I was about to say Breaking Barriers.
We could start our Monday with breaking barriers too. That wouldn't be so bad.
It is certainly a Monday today. Happy Monday, everybody. Megan, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was a nice rainy weekend, very relaxing.
Into a rainy Monday.
Listen,
what more could you ask for? You know what I mean? What more could you ask for here?
Exactly.
Everybody watching it, I hope you guys had a great weekend recharging those batteries. And I just want to talk about that for a quick sec, because I think a lot of times, again, when the people that typically watch this, whether on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, are for the most part typically, career driven, and they really want to continue to grow in their careers. And one of the things that I learned later in my career that if I were to go back and tell myself, hey, here's a piece of advice, it would be to make sure that you give yourself that time over the weekend to, really recharge those batteries, especially if you're running at 110. You got to be recharging those batteries, fam. It cannot be one of those situations where you find yourself and you're just back at it the next week and you're right where you left off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take that time. It's important to do so. But let's get it kicked off here. Megan, what you got for us?
All right. Well, we have some really exciting trends today. YouTube announced some new creator tools. The first one being that they are integrating generative AI into their platform so that the YouTube Shorts are going to become more like TikTok and Instagram Reels and Snapchat with the filters available,
Wow.
which is awesome. They also announced YouTube Create, which is essentially going to be similar to CapCut.
Mm-hmm.
You can edit your videos now within the YouTube platform and publish it right from the editor, which is next level. So instead of having to go to a third-party platform and edit, you can now do it all within YouTube. And then the third option that they have is releasing an idea generator. So they have an AI idea generator where it will generate fresh ideas based off of different topic prompts, which is really helpful for those who maybe they don't know what to film, but they know that they need to be creating content.
What's so interesting about that, though, is that when you look at, like, I was listening to something this morning, my priming, when I was doing my little meditation and stuff this morning and reading, and I saw something that was really interesting that just reminded me of that. Now, what these different platforms are doing are taking already created things and just adding them in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, oh, they're making an idea generator, right? It's like, no, you're just taking AI.
Yeah.
Like you can do an idea generator in ChatGPT right now.
Right.
They're just putting ChatGPT in YouTube. So it's already been done. It's just they're throwing it into a new sector now. You know what I mean?
It seems like more platforms are trying to become the one-stop shop for everything a consumer needs. I mean, we see X doing it. Instagram integrated Threads into the platform so that you don't have to leave, their social app.
Right.
And then you see YouTube now integrating all of the editor tools that you would need. So it's interesting to see this pattern happening.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to hit us on the Google being accused of downplaying the ad price manipulation. So anybody here who advertises on Google, typically at some points, if not 95.5% of the time, finds themselves frustrated or this or that. We have people out there like Philly's Cuts, shout out to Phil, who is looking at his ads every 10 seconds of the day.
It's true.
And the whole thing, though, is that we're always saying, okay, well, there's an advertiser who is not spending, like, who directly, like, they know, like, that they're not spending the same amount as, it's called advertiser A and advertiser B. Advertiser A is spending $1,000. Advertiser B is spending $500. What's interesting is you always typically, find yourself in a position where you see your competition, obviously in most cases, having their ads displayed sometimes longer than yours. But in a very interesting case recently, like we had a let's call it A and B, but they both knew each other's ad spends. One was spending $1,000, one was spending $500, and the $500 one was still being displayed, but it was their first time they were a brand new advertiser on Google. And so I've always had this theory over the past decade plus that when Google has and sees a new opportunity to, like, obviously make more money, with a new advertiser, they want to gain confidence. They want to show them that, your dollars are going to be spent wisely here. And so in this example, the person who was spending $500 in the beginning was always ranking, and their ad was always being displayed versus the other person who's spending way more money, double their budget. So when we see things like, people and all these, big marketing experts out there looking at Google being accused of how they're downplaying their ad, their manipulation here for ad pricing. The issue is that sometimes Google will quietly inflate a price by 100%. And, so it's huge, right? Like they suggest that theirs is 5%, right? But like advertisers who's been doing this for a long time and seeing different ad stuff, we're seeing that it's way more than 5%.
Even 5% can add up.
Yeah,
tremendously,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. So the issue here though is that there's a lot of unlawfully things happening where, the government is looking at Google like they are essentially running a monopoly, right? Where, and so, right now Google is combating all of this and saying, oh no, but the coveted Google algorithm that nobody knows, definitively and clearly, right? I'm even curious if the people that work at Google know that. Probably not. I mean, it's their secret mojo. But the thing is that when you're looking at it, we have to be really, really careful because we don't know what they're spending. Now, obviously, when you're a big company and you have, let's just use a State Farm or a massive insurance company that's competing against little mom and pop insurance companies, that mom and pop insurance company has to watch every dollar that they're spending, right? So like when they're putting out $500 budget, $1,000, $1,000 would be even a lot for most small insurance companies like that. Whereas you have State Farm or Progressive that are spending millions and millions and millions of dollars a month in just Google, nonetheless, every other channel that they're in. So, there's something to be said for just understanding how your ad budget works. And that's why a lot of times when you're doing it yourself, you got to be careful because again, sometimes it could be like throwing money into a fire pit or just shredding that, right? And it's unbelievable that that's the case, but it's like how else, I get it. In some instances, how can Google continue to sustain if everyone just understood the algorithm? Because then people would just be experts and they would just dominate everybody, right? Which in some cases, there is a little bit of that, but they keep you on your toes at the very least. So anyway, again, just be careful. This is all accusations. Like I said, we had a specific direct example this past month in our world where we saw that stark different example of somebody who had a lower budget and somebody that double their budget, and the lower budget who was a new advertiser was ranking. For a lot more than the person spending more money was, which is interesting.
Very interesting.
So just keep that in mind, obviously, when it comes to Google. And that's why it's good to make sure you either know what you're doing or really study with a smaller budget first and then grow into that adult budget once you have that experience. Or, again, go with an expert. We got your back there.
Google has you mentioned that they're being looked at as a monopoly right now. And we were talking about how a lot of searches taking place are happening on one of three platforms, Google, YouTube, or TikTok nowadays, right? Well, TikTok is actually exploring a partnership with Google now to drive search traffic.
Yep.
Which is crazy. So within TikTok now, there will be, they'll integrate Google search prompts and different search results within TikTok's search stream so that you would be able to type in a search query the same way you would on Google. And within TikTok, you would see both video content and actual search related content as well, which is mind blowing. So it's going to change the way search engine optimization takes place in the future, even more than it already is right now. But it's interesting to see these collaborations take place.
Yeah, 100%. Again, and the one thing they have right now could change, but one thing they have right now is that TikTok and Google are not competitors, right? So like at the moment, Google's they're not worried and TikTok's not worried. So we'll see what happens.
No, there's some good synergy there. I mean, if you think about it, most people, when they search for something, they're looking for a visual aid, some sort of video. How often do you go to a blog and genuinely read through the entire blog, right? Especially some of the longer ones. We even tell some of our clients, if you're putting out a blog, film a video to post at the top of it. Because people aren't reading. So it's nice to see this type of collaboration.
100%. Next up, we got 5 new YouTube features that are coming soon to help creators. And again, guys, if you're not creating content, I don't know what you're doing out there. You should be creating content. If you're a business owner or a brand of some sort, you need to be out there creating content. YouTube's a great place to do it. Last week, we talked about how literally there's people on YouTube making multi-million dollars who didn't come into it with that thought process. Like I used the example of Miss Rachel, who is a, essentially a baby slash kid, she was a teacher first, then now started doing YouTube content. But point being is that everybody should be putting some effort towards YouTube and creating content. So if you are somebody, here are 5 top things that are coming out soon. So one is the Dream Screen. Okay. So YouTube is launching an experimental new feature that enables content creators to easily add AI generated video and or image backgrounds to YouTube Shorts. Now, again, most people who don't have editors or they don't have people who are able to create content, in post-production for them. Anybody can grab a camera, pop it on a tripod, click go and do this, right? But it's the editing and it's like the things that make that video next level. I actually watched something that Mr. Beast, if you guys don't know who that is, look that up. Mr. Beast spends $150,000 per thumbnail.
Oh my gosh.
In testing. So he has hundreds and hundreds of thumbnails created, tested before
crazy.
one out of all of them gets selected. So he spends $150,000 per thumbnail. Think about that.
You have to think of how much money he makes, though, that he genuinely sees an ROI from spending the $150,000.
Right. But when you think about it, it's really crazy because at the end of the day, like he has the most, I think, pretty sure he's the most viewed person on YouTube. So anyway, when you have Dream Screen, you have that ability to have YouTube create some AI generated video or image backgrounds for you. That helps. Second one is YouTube Create. So when YouTube Create, this platform is launching a new mobile app with called YouTube Create. By the way, I hate when Google has 10,000 apps inside their apps. It's like, why are we doing so many apps, Google? Come on. But it's to help make video creation easier. So with this app, you can make shorts, longer videos, edit soundtracks, captions, and more, all right from the phone. Again, this is good for people who are do-it-yourselfers, right? If you're somebody in the beginning phases, this is great. Like these things are great. They're there to help you. Third one is AI Insights. So YouTube is introducing a new feature called AI Insights that generates suggestions that you talked about based on YouTube for your audience, what they're viewing, and help you inspire your next idea. So the cool part of this is that is that they're getting data based on the viewers. Mm-hmm. So that is actually different now that I'm thinking about that, because with ChatGPT, they're giving you just data, right? They're giving you just information and ideas they're producing based on the internet from, I believe it's 2021 past. But right now with Insights on YouTube, the cool part is based on the videos you've created and what users are watching and where they're watching, where they're repeating, where they're fast forwarding through or scrubbing through. Now it's going to give you ideas. So right now in their early testing, it showed that 70% of those surveyed found the tool valuable for brainstorming and testing video concepts. And again, keeping in mind with Mr. Beast as an example, the guy who has the most views on YouTube and spends multi-million dollars per video, right? Insane amount of money per video. This guy does a bunch of testing. So the fact that you literally have the opportunity now as just a regular creator, to be able to go in and have video concepts and thoughts already generated for you based on data and based on what people are watching on your channel, that's really, really cool. Mm-hmm. 4, so Aloud. So YouTube has a worldwide audience, so it's introducing an AI-powered dubbing tool to assist creators in making their content accessible to viewers across the globe.
Interesting.
Now, what I love about this is Google, again, genius. Why are they genius? Because they want to expand their reach, right? So they're saying, okay, we're going to do a dubbing feature. You don't have to, right now, Mr. Beast was known as a genius he's been doing this and hiring people to do this in all these different languages already. So the fact that he's paying somebody to do it.
Oh my gosh.
So the fact that YouTube is going to give you the ability to literally be able to put your content accessibly in Spain and, all these different countries that would never be able to do unless you had all the money to spend to hire somebody who knew that language to dub it for you. Right now, you're going to have that ability to do that. That's really cool. And that's more for people who have more of a global reach. If you're a real estate agent in, Connecticut, this ain't going to help you. But if you're a coach for real estate agents and you want to go outside of the US, that can help you. And last but not least, and if you're a DIYer, I think you'll probably get this too. But everybody who's in post-production for media, you definitely understand this. And this is assistive search and creator music. Everybody knows that the tune that you put on that video is it's either gonna make that video a vibe or it's gonna turn that video into a right? An opposite of hype button, right? But so content creators will be able to use assistive search to discover the perfect soundtrack for a video. All you have to do is type in the description of your content, and AI will give you ideal music at a suitable price point, right? So typically, if you are somebody who is doing your own videos, or if you're in post production somewhere, you understand that you have to have some sort of royalty free, subscription. What's going to be interesting here for this rollout when they do these things to help you guys and us coming soon is going to be the fact that like now based on it, like everybody who's in post-production, or if you're doing your own videos, sometimes you could be looking for videos for 15, 20, 30 minutes for music. And I know in the past, I've done that. Like I've had some of my editors over the years, or content people send me, video with music, and I hated the music. And I'm like, no, let me look. So they get like, all right, here's the account. And I'll be just searching and searching and searching and searching. So the thought of that you can remove that, that's wild. That's wild. So YouTube, Google, I like what you're doing here. I'm not mad about this.
All right, this next trend you are going to like, actually. It's a new AI element for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is pretty cool. So they're now giving users of the Sales Navigator the ability to introducing filter with AI, which is going to allow users to have more conversational and personalized experiences. So let's say you're reaching out to different medical practices.
Right.
The best way that you can reach out to them in the masses while still making it personalized is using this AI tool, which will pull in different elements of their profile and actually help to personalize the message so it doesn't seem so templated.
Right.
Which is incredible. So
no matter what though, on LinkedIn, if you're watching this, and maybe if you're watching this on LinkedIn specifically, I would love to see in the comments how much you love getting blown up in your inbox. No, but because I feel like it's so annoying at this point. It's like ridiculous. And I think no matter what, like, yeah, that'll probably help in some ways. But like, when's the last time you looked at your LinkedIn email?
I do actually look at it pretty often.
Do you?
Yeah, only because half of it I would say is those templated responses, people just trying to sell you something. The other half is actual platforms that I think we would be interested in, which is why I do take the time to look. But it is still it's not a wonderful sales tool right now. No.
I just completely light it on fire. I'm like, everybody get the freak out. I almost cursed right there. But everybody get out of my DMs on LinkedIn, because at the end of the day, it's like it's just overkill at this point. Most of the people, it's funny, like I have people like it's like this is the problem. Like if I was getting solicited, right, which everybody finds annoying, but it's okay. If I was getting solicited by more people that were like, hey, we're a sales CRM stuff, I want to kind of talk to you and show you XYZ. Like, I'd be, all right, cool. 90% of my emails at all times are people telling me that they can build my website.
Yeah.
And like, do you have a brain in your skull?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Why are you wasting my time? Why are you telling me you can build? That's what I do. Hello. So, and it's not even like white label people who are like, oh, we can do whatever. It's mainly like people like, oh, I can help build your online presence, or I can do whatever. And I'm like, dude,
same.
Like, you're just clogging my freaking inbox. Like, why are you sending me messages? So I think at the end of the day, it's such a rare needle in the haystack scenario where, like, if you're in sales and you're watching this right now, I just want to tell you, LinkedIn InMail is not going to work for you. I promise you, it's not going to work for you. You have the odds are better hitting the lottery. I really truly feel like, because the people that you want to reach are all getting blown up, right? Like, think about it.
It is tough. Yeah, it is a competitive market.
Most people, if you're on LinkedIn, you have to be trying to talk to a decision maker. If you're in sales, right? I've been in sales for almost 15 years now, obviously doing what I do to build Adapting Social. And the thing is that at the end of the day, you have to talk to the decision makers to get things done, right? You could talk to an assistant, or you could talk to somebody who works for the boss. But at the end of the day, if you're not talking to the decision maker, then you're not going to be, getting the results you want, or it'll take forever. And the thing is that most people who are the decision makers are getting blown up on LinkedIn. So they're not like, again, I can't even believe Megan's actually looking through those emails. That's great. Is that a regular thing? Every day?
Like once a week.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But is it more of you don't want messages in your inbox? You don't have the notification?
Well, it's that.
You hate going in there and seeing like 25 new things. Like, it gotta be 0.
No, I don't mind that so much.
She's lying.
I do like to see like how people are pitching their service. It's more of like I use it as
Okay.
entertainment, to be completely
All
honest
right.
with you, because I like to see how people are pitching their services
Right.
from a marketing standpoint.
Right.
And I like to see how some people try to be really friendly,
Mm.
and sometimes it comes off a little too friendly. It's like, hold on, you're still in my in-mail.
Yeah.
We're not friends yet. Let's chill with the coffee. But I
Yeah.
also like to see the different. There's so many SaaS companies out there dropping into my in-mail, so I do like to just explore those.
Yeah, it's actually funny. There's only been one time where somebody like actually personalized it to me. Maybe that I've seen. Because I just, like I said, I light on fire. I don't even look at most of them. But I opened up one, and instead of like saying like, "Hey, let's go get a coffee," this person's like, "Hey, I saw that you're one of the owners in Commodity and blah blah, and like Adapting Social, and I think there's a lot of synergy for us. Let's go out and grab a green tea shot."
Oh,
And I was like,
cute.
"Yo!" And honestly, I never answered the back. I deleted it. See that?
You did.
I did. I'm sorry if you're watching this, but I did.
That was
did.
clever though. That
But
was
I do give them that point. I give them the style points there. 2 style points awarded, right, to Gryffindor.
You
Because
should
at
have
the end of the day,
responded and said only if it's Commodity.
well, they kind of alluded to that.
Yeah.
But I love what they did. I said this is fantastic, but what they were trying to sell me, I did not want.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, but with that said, though, we know Megan is a murderer with her inbox and LinkedIn. Get it? She's crazy. But for all of us regular people out there, Megan, no, I'm just kidding. But the thing is like I'm just saying, like I just think that at the end of the day, like I don't care how great LinkedIn or any platform gets with like making and crafting more messages, whatever. Like I just feel like the decision makers that you need to be in front of, it's so tough. Even with emails nowadays, right? Like
Yeah.
like again, going back 10 or 15 years ago, if you emailed somebody, like when I would email somebody that I didn't know, and I would be like, "Hey, I would love to talk about XYZ," I would get an email back, and they would like hear me out in some cases, right? But like now, everybody has the spam blockers on. If they don't know the email, it goes into a certain filter and blah blah blah. It's like it's really challenging to get in people's emails or their inboxes like that if they don't know you. So the thing is, as salespeople, right? I love LinkedIn Recruiter. That's part of their job. They got to keep innovating in their software. So I get it. But as salespeople, if you're watching this and you are a salesperson, get more creative. I think one of the best things that I've ever heard when I was at a UPW Unleash Your Power Within Tony Robbins event, I think it was back in like 2018 or something. But this guy said that he was up on stage and he was talking about how like he just kept trying to get in with this one business, and he was emailing, calling, and he called every week for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Every week, 52 weeks in a year, times 5, right? This guy was persistent. And the guy on the receiving end, the prospective client, was like, "Hey, I really, really like appreciate your persistence here, but like stop it. Like, like now you're harassing us, blah, whatever." So this guy like had the mental and the creative fortitude to go out there. And what he wound up doing was he wound up going out there and he did some research, right? Some could say a little creepy. I'll say he did. I'll say he's resilient, but he went out there, did some research, found that this guy had 3 kids, got them 5 tickets to Disney for him and his wife and his kids, with a note that just said, "Hey, I know I've been crazy over the past few years. I really want to win your business. At the end of the day, I understand family is the most important thing. So I wanted to give you this ability to, go out and enjoy your family with nothing, in return here. Just, good luck." And anyway, like that's expensive, obviously. So most people are like, "I ain't sending you to Disney, bro. I need the business first." Yeah. But he did that, and guess what? He got this contract, and it wound up being a $20 or $30 million contract. And so obviously that persistence makes sense. That's now,
worth
right?
The Disney tickets.
That's worth the Disney tickets. But my point though is that like we got to get more creative, right? It's now AI will help us do drips and help us do those things that go in email. So whatever, we got to do it. Let's just keep doing it. But it's like you have to get creative on real personalization, right? Like that's the difference. Like when you get out of the box like that, that's how you get stuff done. So anyway, rant over. But we gotta get more personal here.
Yeah, it's really, I feel like the saying "it's all about who you know" is more relevant than ever lately because.
Yeah. But no, we don't believe in that saying, Megan.
I know. Well,
what do we say here?
I don't know. What do we say? We have
Megan.
We say a lot of things.
7 years, and she don't remember what we say here when it comes to that saying.
No, I don't actually.
Oh my, that's it.
Spark my memory.
Where's like this Nickelodeon slime button? Slime her right now. In editing, we're
You
gonna
know,
slime her right now.
I'm just going to say I have not had my first sip of coffee still yet, so let's blame it on
Unbelievable.
that first.
No.
And
I can't
then
believe this.
enlighten me.
I can't believe this. If you're watching this is unbelievable.
Hold on. And the only reason I say that is because sales is all about building relationships. And nowadays in oversaturated inboxes, it's so hard unless you get an introduction from someone you already know. It's tough. All right, tell me. Tell me.
That's it. Guys, this is the last time you're going to see Megan on the show. This is Megan's last day on the show now.
I had a great run.
But no, so it is not about who you know, right? Because that, in that saying, in all reality, would mean that only the people who have the upper echelon, status would get ahead in life. It's about who you make the effort to go meet.
Oh, well, yeah. Tomato.
That's not tomato.
To know people, you have to go meet them.
You have to, but of course. But like the thing is, no, because it's all about who you know means that it's introductions. You know those people. It's all about who you know. Like, for instance, like, it's like my parents' friends, right? It's like, okay, I know them because my parents.
Oh, no. See, in my mind, I was thinking like go to a networking event and introduce yourself to a ton of people, get your name out there so that people know who you are. And then you aren't so much of a cold.
Meg's backtracking. It's about who you meet, people, at the end of the day. So my point about that is it's not about falling in somebody's email or their phone or whatever, right? It's like, yeah, there are networking events. Yeah, you can go in person and go meet somebody. Yeah, you can offer somebody XYZ, but you have to get out there and go meet people. Most of my mentors that I've met over the years, like right now, like we're working with some pretty big names, which we'll be announcing soon, right? But like all these major people that we're working with that have insane resumes, right? We just reached out to, right? And like we built that relationship. We made that effort. We went out there and made it happen. I guess that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, again, it's not who you just know. It's about who you make the effort to get your butt out there to go meet and to put effort into those relationships. Because you know what? They always say this, and I'm a big believer in this. You're always one relationship away from a huge, huge launch pad in your life and career. So you got to get out there. You got to go meet those people that are in the relevant places that you want to freaking be, not just be in mailing and whatever else. So I'm sorry, rant over. I went on a rant there, but we taught Megan a couple things along the way. It's fine.
It's great.
Next up, Google is expecting. So right now we're expecting more simplification of search results. So a lot of their SERP features they're looking to remove, which is wild. So we're going to see some in this year. Of course, as Google always freaking does, we don't know which ones they are, right? But what this means, right, is at the end of the day, Google wants to simplify search. Obviously, they're making generative AI things happen, right? So they're making things where it's like, okay, you just, boom, you pop it in their version of ChatGPT, right? And then it's going to give you all the search results, all these different things, right? Which, by the way, I'm excited for way more than ChatGPT. For the asking of questions. ChatGPT, I love for like, hey, write me a 10-page book or write me a blog or whatever. That stuff is phenomenal. But for the actual search stuff, because right now with ChatGPT, it only goes up to like 2021. So Google, very relevant, very active. When you're able to actively do a search throughout the entire internet, and I mean active, not just 21 beyond or behind, it just gives you a whole new world and opens you up. So anyway, they want to make it way more simpler, keeping in mind that they understand that the audience that's on Google, they want simplicity, right? Everybody wants simplicity. That's why Amazon is a gajillion-dollar company, because they've made the online shopping experience so simple, right? And so easy and so effortless. So that's what Google wants to continue to do, right? So that's part of what they're doing here. And listen, for the last 25 years, right? So 15 of those years where I was in the game with Google, they've always said, push, and create original content, aka blogs or content on your website. And that's how you will rank. Now, they're starting to say that that's not the only way to do that, right? And before it was just, as long as content is king. If you have great content, you're going to win. Now it's not just about that. It's about, like we were talking about earlier, creating videos of your content, creating, other assets on your site with content. It's not the typical H1 tag, meta tag, blah, blah, blah anymore. It's literally like you got to get out there and make big moves. That's why for our SEO clients, when we're out there talking about SEO, it's like Google wants you to be a performance junkie. They want you to be out there making moves. They want to see activity on their website. They want to see activity on backlinks off your website. And there's so much you need to do. But the good thing, though, is as for the searcher, right? The searcher, it will become more and more simplified. which is going to be super interesting to see. You know how like when you go to Google and you type in whatever, like, pizzeria near me, it's like it'll pop up all these different things, whatever. What's going to be interesting though is that they're kind of alluding to like right now you'll have all these different options where you can click up top, right, and go images, videos, blah, blah, whatever, right?
Right.
Whereas what they want to simplify it down to, right? Again, this is rumored, okay, rumored, is that they want it to be literally like you're just in a search bar and it's going to give you specifically what you're looking for without you having to ask for it. And it's interesting to say that, right? But it's all about how you search now, right? So instead of you being like, hey, I want kitchen inspiration, to remodel my kitchen, it's gonna based on what you search, it's gonna provide you those things, video and blah blah. So we'll see. I know we always talk about Chris talking about TikTok, how he does those TikTok things.
Right.
It's gonna be really interesting to see how this evolves, from the times forward. But Google want to simplify removing SERPs. Interesting.
All right. I think that's it.
That's all she wrote. All right, guys, listen, happy Monday. All right, I was going to send you off on a little positive motivation Monday here, guys. And the one thing last week we talked about motivation in itself and how you should be motivating yourself onward, right? And just, again, part of you finding what motivates you is how you stay motivated. Because we all know motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. Again, over the past 15 years, I typically pin my motivation down to business because it's, what I've been doing for as long as I, started to want to be, a motivation, needing the motivation better yet, rather than just saying, okay, I want a cool quote. But on this Motivation Monday, ending and kicking this off to a new week, I want to say one thing. Do not forget how you got here, right? And I was thinking about that this morning. Like, damn, I'm on my way to the office, going to go crush some content. And I'm like, damn, I remember thinking back then where I'd be like, I would be in a dream. I'd have to pinch myself if I could have a couple of clients and could be able to do things like this. And as busy as I am right now, right? I'm busier than I've ever been. But I look back, I'm like, how the heck did I get here, right? And it's important to do that sometimes, right? And that's it motivates me, right? Thinking about when I was grinding, going door knocking, didn't have anybody on my team. It was just me. And I found myself today thinking like, wow, like I'm not going to forget what it took for me to get here, all the work, right? And the people, right? So each week I try to do that. And on this Motivation Monday, I hope you stop and think, no matter what you're going through, because sometimes, again, like I got shit going on today that ain't in my favor, right? But at the end of the day, when you look at where I was to where I am today, who I am today, right? Who I've evolved into, right? It's important to kind of do that exercise sometimes. So I hope that you think about that no matter what you're going through. And in order to think about, well, how did I get here, right? And who I became in the process, we have to think about one thing, is that all of the things that have made us struggle, that challenged us, that challenged me. Because when I think back about those times, I think about all the no's, clients leaving, this, that, whatever, the things that were tough, right? Team members leaving. At the end of the day, you're only able to showcase what you're made of when you go through tough times, right? When things are great, obviously, of course, you could be happy and just, all hunky dory. But when you're going through tough times, it makes you into a person that you wouldn't have been otherwise. And so I'm grateful for those challenges. That's why when I look back, I think about how did I get here today, right? Those challenges made me who I am. So I'm excited for the next ones. And it's hard to be, right? Because when you're in the trenches, that sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is not fun, fam. And we know that, right? So when you're in the trenches, but keep in mind, when you're in the trenches, when you're digging, when you got mud on you, that is where you learn the most. You can have a Harvard education in some of these trenches, right? Because a lot of people I've talked to, a lot of people that we've worked with over the years that are really successful business owners, people in charity, nonprofits, whatever, that went to prestigious schools. I asked them this is their 20, 30 years into their career already, right? I'm like, what was your biggest source of learning? And most of them say it wasn't from school. It was from being out there and getting the real stuff happening to them. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little motivation around one thing, is that whatever you went through to get to where you are today, you needed. And wherever you're going to go next, those challenges are going to be just the same, just as hard, right? Sometimes even harder. But if you have that mindset that, you know what, I'm going to learn in this time and I'm going to grow from it, then you will build past it and you will grow stronger from it. So our challenges make us. Don't let them break you guys. Happy Monday. And, you know, at the end of the day, guys, I hope you crush this week ahead. Megs, let's get after it.
All right. Have
Thank
a
you
good
guys.
week.